Welcome back, everyone, to the Blues feed. New episode, same obsession with Chelsea. Today, we are previewing the Palace game. Before we jump into it, just remember to like, comment, and subscribe to make sure you enter into the 1K subscriber giveaway. We're getting closer and closer. So, the quicker we get to that goal, the quicker one of you lucky guys will get your hands on one of the shirts of your choice. Today, we're joined, as always, with Luke. How we doing, mate?
Yeah, really good, mate. Glad to be back again. Obviously, we did our PL predictions yesterday, and now we are here on the eve of the season. It's crazy. It's come around so quick.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Got Liverpool kicking off the season tonight, so it will be good. Glad to be back. It doesn't feel like it's been gone for very long because we were obviously in the Club World Cup. So um, yeah, let's get into it. So for the first part, we're going to continue with the best comment. So we had Quake Tremors with Love of Finding the New Chelsea podcast. And to answer your question, yes, we are back. I hate getting ahead of myself, which is something I am doing, especially when it comes to preseason game. But it's hard not to be excited for the new season, seeing how well we've been playing recently. There's so much cohesion now, and the vibe seems solid. Love the new signings. I also feel like Maresca is capable of letting go of the rigid tactics and adapting where he needs to, which didn't seem possible for the most of last season. The only concern I have is even though I know we have a lot of options at the back, due to the injury to Colwell, it does worry me. Losing his leadership on the pitch is pretty huge. I didn't feel moved by Tossin and Chalobah pairing, and that said, going into the market for a new centre back doesn't seem likely. Really appreciate the comment. I think I agree with quite a lot of what you said, to be honest, if not all of it. I think Chelsea are back to at least being a top four side and competing everywhere. So I think I agree with that. I do like how Maresca stopped the inverting for inverting's sake, and the more fluidity and quickness of our play when we are playing and attacking. I do also agree on the centre back front. I think we have like 9 options, but I'm not particularly enamoured by any of them. I like Josh, I like Tosin, I like Trev, I like Badiashile to a degree, but to go into the Champions League, to go to the Bernabeu, none of them fill me with a lot of confidence. Luke, what's your kind of thoughts on the comments? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I completely agree with near enough all of it. I don't mind the Tosin and Trev partnership, but it would concern me coming up against the better sides and a more physical number nine. But hopefully, it's something we can address. How we address it, I'm still not completely sure, to be honest, but I think we will address it in one way, shape, or form. But yeah, thank you for the comment. There was quite a few comments on that video and on all of our videos recently. We really appreciate it. Keep them up, keep commenting, and then we will each week or each episode we will pick out a comment to talk about, like this one here.
Yeah, I think with the centre back one, just to add on the last bit of there, it's just I don't think there's an obvious option. I think quite a lot of people like the Gurhey, but he doesn't want to come back. He seemingly either wants to run his contract down or go to Liverpool. I don't think there's an obvious option which works both short term and long term outside of what we mentioned on the episode the other day. Maybe something like a Laporte on loan or a short term deal might work, but
Yeah.
that's something for the sporting directors to deal with. And to be fair to them, they've done a very good job so far this season outside of addressing the goalkeeper situation. So I think I trust them more than I did last year, and hopefully they'll work out the best way to deal with it with Maresca.
Yeah.
But yeah, really appreciate the comment. Keep them up. To jump into the preview now, um, we've got we've got the Palace shape. This is how they set up against Liverpool in their traditional 3-4-3 formation. A very solid, very close together, narrow, but also quite wide when they attack with the wing backs. They attack a bit more predominantly down the right hand side from a fullback perspective, with Mitchell being a lot more defensive. Um, and very solid in midfield. What's your kind of overall thoughts on how they play? What you think might be where we struggle?
To be honest, I think that they're very well drilled. You know what you get from a Glasner team. You're going to get you're going to get fullbacks being high and wide. Eze can pick up a pocket, and then Sarr sort of generally joins Mateta in that space on the inside where the fullbacks have gone so wide and created an overload. So I think it's going to be a tough game, but this is the sort of game that I'm starting to get more confident in Chelsea being able to approach it in the right manner, and being able to prepare properly for it. I think Adam Wharton's just a sensational footballer, but if we can get physicality around him, then we can potentially nullify his threats. Um, the thing for us, and it could be a good time to play Palace, is firstly they're going to be over the moon with their Community Shield win, but then this week, obviously, there's been loads of conversations around Mark Gahey. Is his head going to be in the right place? I would imagine he's the sort of footballer that would be able to just play through it. I feel like he's quite a level-headed guy, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play. And then similar to Eze, really, I think he's quite a level-headed player, but there is a lot of talk around him moving to Spurs at the minute. So if that progresses between now and then, we may not see either of them in the lineup, which could strengthen our chances of winning. But overall, I feel like we've got the tools to nullify Palace. Really, to be honest.
Yeah, I think what will be key in this game from an attacking perspective is Liverpool had a lot of joy down Liverpool's left hand side and Palace's right hand side due to how high up Munoz gets. And a lot of intricate passes in between the lines to disrupt the defense because they are very rigid and very solid. So in link up between like Pedro and Palmer and Enzo and whoever else plays in the attack, if that's Esteval, Neto, Gittins, etc., is going to be key. And playing quickly when we do have the ball because they do like to settle in. From a defensive standpoint, it's also marking those half spaces and those pocket spaces. But I do think Chelsea will have enough. I think obviously Palace have gone through a lot, as you say, over the last kind of week or so, being relegated down to the Conference League instead of the Europa League. Then the joys of winning the Community Shield, and yeah, the links with Eze and Gurhi leaving the club. I think they could be a little bit unsettled and a little bit distracted, and that might just play into our hands a little bit. I'm going to move on to kind of the way that they did play against Liverpool. This is the kind of the passing map and the shape that they played. As you can see, it's a very solid 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3 if you like, with a lot of emphasis of the build up, and trying to break the lines into kind of those pockets, into those 10s and 8s spots. I personally think that we will be able to deal with it a little bit better than Liverpool, due to the fact of our midfield will be a lot stronger than the Soboslai and Curtis Jones kind of pivot compared to a Caicedo and Enzo pivot. Where do you think they can hurt us, Luke?
I think the fullbacks is definitely the area. I think our wingers are going to have to be aware to the situation, and there's going to have to be a lot of tracking back. And then I think, depending on our centre back partnership, I think the physicality of Mateta can be an issue. But overall, I feel like just playing our natural game, being energetic on the ball, being able to press high, I think that in itself should be enough to be able to get us to win in this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and we'll go on to what our predicted lineups in a minute, but I think somebody like a Neto could be key to help nullify the Munoz threat. So yeah, I think the midfield being solid in the transition, not giving up too much space, and then the wingers working hard is key for the defensive side of things. And then in attacking quickly, moving the ball, popping it about 1-2 touch to disrupt the shape is going to be key. And also being clinical early. I think they might take a little bit of time to settle into the game, like I say, with the distraction. So if we can get a goal quite early and then take a strong hold of the game, I think that'll be really key.
Yeah, I agree.
Going into the predicted lineups that we have here, we've got mine on the left and Luke's on the right. I'll go first. I've got Sanchez, James, Fofana or Trev, depending on the fitness of Fofana. I think with the transitions and the quickness of how they break, I think Fofana would be a real big plus to our defence. But let's see how fit. Well, I trust Maresca to make that call with Fafana. Then I've got Tosin and Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer in the 10, Pedro up top. And then personally, I've gone for Neto on the left to work hard. He's our best defensive winger. He nullified the Hakimi threat when we played against PSG, which Munoz is as attacking as Hakimi on that right-hand side. So I think he can do a very good job there. And then I've gone for Esteval on the right-hand side. Partly due to the fact that Neto will be playing on the left to help with the Munoz threat, but partly also because I think he's an unbelievable talent. I don't think there's much difference between starting an Esteval or a Gittins from a readiness or an experience perspective. So I've gone for Esteval, and then I mean everything he touches turns to goals at the moment in João Pedro. I think he can occupy the defence very well, and his link up in those half spaces will be really key to disrupting this attack. Luke, do you want to run through yours and add any comments that you want?
Yeah, I think he's going to keep it to what we played against Milan. I think it'll be Sanchez, James, Trevin Tosin with Cucurella at left back, Caicedo and Enzo in the pivot with Palmer in the 10, Neto right, Gittins left, and then João Pedro up front. It's not necessarily what I would do, but I think that there was a reason he tried and tested that lineup against AC Milan, and I feel like that was in preparation for this game. You could see Fafana coming for Trev, like you mentioned, depending on the fitness. But I feel like Trev's was quite a minor injury on Sunday, and I feel like if they've got the chance to give Fafana another week in training without putting him through the stresses of a game, I feel like they'll do what they can, and they've really quite dealt with injuries quite well in the time that Maresca's been in charge. I think the fullbacks and the centre midfielders pick themselves. Cole Palmer's Cole Palmer. Neto needs to play, like you say. I think on the left he could be great to nullify Munoz, but if not, you could play him on the right and work it that way. I think Gittins works hard as well. I would potentially look at the way you line up, or maybe bringing João Pedro into the 10, Palmer on the right, Neto on the left, and Delap as the 9. But this is what we spoke about recently. We've just got so many different ways we can line up our attack that it would always be game dependent. And I think for this game, the best way to line it up would be one of the two we see in front of us there. Like you say, I don't think there's too many differences between starting Gittins or Esteval from an experience level. And Esteval is just sensational from what I've seen of him. So yeah, I'm pretty happy going into the game with those lineups and seeing how we come up on top. Really.
Yeah, I think with the Fafana versus Trev, it would depend on both injuries. So if Trev has rolled his ankle and he's still not right, and Fafana's fit, you play Fafana. If Fafana is just fit, then and he can deal with playing, then you play Fafana. He's our best centre back that's fit, potentially even our best centre back overall. So, but I trust, like I said, I trust Maresca to make that call. I like the Neto on the left just for the Munoz side. I think it worked very well against PSG. So Munoz brings a big threat, especially if Eze may not play because his move to Tottenham is pending. Munoz is probably one of their biggest threats in attack from a build up and from a creative perspective. So I think Neto helping on that side is great. And I mean, any excuse for me to put Esteval in the lineup works as well. So yeah, but I could understand if it was Neto and Gittins because I think Gittins works hard as well. I think Neto is the one that needs to play at the moment due to the only attacker apart from Palmer who was actually here last year. But yeah, anything else you want to add, or do we want to go into our predictions?
Let's go into our match predictions. I think.
Cool. We've got a similar kind of difference in the scoreline, but I've gone for a 3-1, you've gone for a 2-0. Any particular reason why the 2-0, or what your thoughts are about that?
I'm basing it more on the fact that I don't think Eze is going to play. And I think
Okay.
obviously he is a real creative spark for them as well as a goal scorer. And I just feel like we're confident at the minute. We're in a really good vein of confidence, and there's a really good feeling around the group. And generally, when a team is feeling like that, they all muck in and help each other out, and I think we'll defend well. Like you said earlier, everything Pedro touched turns to goals. So I'm expecting a goal from him and a goal from Cole Palmer, which would do my fantasy team lovely. And I think Caicedo, as generally in any match he plays, could be man of the match, but in this game, I think he will be.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I've gone for 3-1. I just think that in transition, Palace might just nick a goal. We've looked a little bit open on the transition in pre-season and just in general. So I think with how good they are in transition, I think they could sneak a goal. Palmer and Pedro for the same reasons as you. And then I've gone for a Cucurella goal because in pre-season he had a big chance in both games, and I think we might have to put quite a few crosses in because of how settled Palace are, and he just seems to sniff out a chance at the moment. So yeah, I think Cucurella could score. And then man of the match, I've gone for Cole Palmer because I think he'll get a goal and an assist, which will probably clinch the man of the match for him. Well, that's the kind of preview. I think I don't have anything else that I would personally like to add. Anything you would like to add, Luke?
No, I think people just need to not get used to us being in such cohesion this season. I think at the start of the season, when there's not much on the line and not as many games, feel like we'll be a little bit along the same lines now. I think once the season gets into full pace and there's cup games, Champions League games, I think our lineups will be all over the place, scores, etc. So yeah, enjoy it while it lasts before before the
Before we
debates
start
start coming in.
arguing, mate. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly that, mate.
Um,
Exactly.
I think we'll do well on Sunday, and I think the crowd will be on side. There's a real good feel factor about it. So I think first day of the season, feeling good again. I think we'll have everything we need
Yep.
to get over the line. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please remember to drop a comment and a like and subscribe to enter in the giveaway, but also enter into potentially the next video. Follow us on all socials, and we will catch you next time. Peace.